I'm just so relieved I did everything right this time.
Did you?
I mean, I seem to have. It was the right intro. It was the right overlay, and now the Merri Hour logo is there.
Good job. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel like this is a good sign for the rest of my Saturday.
I hope it is only good vibes from here on out. It's early for me. It's 3 hours later for you.
Yeah.
So
how is your Saturday going so far?
good. We're figuring things out. Life is happening very quickly.
Yeah, I bet I would like an update at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you want to tell our live viewers, but if you want to give them any insight into why your hands are full, you're more than welcome to.
Trying to literally figure out moving scenarios.
Moving is fucking hard, man. Moving is literally one of the hardest things, like one of the hardest, like regular life things that so many people have to deal with.
Yeah, there's just dates overlapping and people keep changing things, and it'd be nice if there's just simple, right? Like one ends, the other starts. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just chaos. So yeah. That is what's been happening recently.
Well, the silver lining is once the actual production of moving is over, like hopefully you have a nice beautiful place and you're happy with it and it's like a fresh exciting start somewhere else.
Yeah, let's go with that. That can't happen until like a month from now. So
well, it's something to look forward to.
Yes, it is. I want it now.
So Robin, I'm very jealous. I'll just tell everybody this right up top. The main reason why we have this title today is because of Matt, because I seem to be, other than Robin, I guess, one of the only people on the planet who still haven't seen Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And it's like, it's really upsetting me at this point, but I'm going to go see it tomorrow. I'm so jealous of you all, though.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
I will have things to say about that later.
First, we do have a super chat from Wiley. Sorry, can't watch live. A homework day for me. Good for you, man. But Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is hands down has the best needle drop of the year. I'll just say vinyl moment at the end is what I am talking about. Do you agree, Matt?
It's good. Don't get me wrong. I still think I might like the first movie's soundtrack and inclusion a little more. That is one of the things I think they're both good. I don't want to compare. Like I don't want to get into it because we'll talk about it later. But yeah, my favorite needle drop of the year though is a movie on Hulu now called The Devil Conspiracy. It's hot nonsense. It's like if Paul W.S. Anderson adapted the Bible as loosely as he adapted Resident Evil.
Well,
but like. It's like a 2000s action horror, like a church-going kind of vibe. And there's this priest on a motorcycle who's supposed to be like the badass hero priest driving down a highway, and it's playing Send Me an Angel. And like that is the best needle drop of the year. I'm sorry.
Is priests on motorcycles like the theme of the year?
He's possessed by by Saint Michael. So he dies, and then like Saint Michael comes down and inhabits his body. So he's like super badass priest.
So it's a little different than Russell Crowe on a Vespa.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. No, way different. We're talking like badass priest on a motorcycle versus like just Russell Crowe on a Vespa.
Make sure we draw any necessary line between the two here.
A little boop for Russell Crowe.
All right. Where do you want to start with the headline?
Do you? I could do that.
I mean, there's not a whole lot of other news out there. We do have a couple things on the list, but if during the course of this live stream there's a news story that you wanted us to discuss, just drop it into the live chat and we'll talk about it. But I guess in the meantime, let's start with the Spider-Man discussion. And I mean, that seems to be the biggest burning question after walking out of the movie is this really the best Spider-Man film ever made?
No. It's my easy answer.
Okay.
I think the first is still superior here. Across the Spider-Verse is the better. Like even just talking about the two movies, I think not Across the Cross is the new one. Into the Spider-Verse, I think is still the superior of the two. It's not by a wide margin though. Like I mean, I fucking love Into the Spider-Verse. I think that is one of the best animated movies I've ever seen for all the reasons people are saying. I think the animation of Across the Spider-Verse is 100% better. Like somehow they take the most jaw-dropping, amazing animation done in Into the Spider-Verse. And just what they're doing in Across the Spider-Verse by taking all these different multiverse styles and having them collide in on one another. And it's so crisp and so clean. Like, just getting the normal Spider-Man kind of, like Spider-Man India is a more like cartoon comic book drawn, traditionally drawn Spider-Man, and in the same frame is like Spider-Punk, who is like magazine cutouts and continually like changing, like he's made a newspaper. And then like in another scene, like the Vulture is out of like Leonardo da Vinci's Notebook, and yet he's in new wave like neo-noir Spider-Verse. It's so fucking good how they do all that. So animation trounces. Yeah, this is one of the most beautiful films I've ever seen. But yeah, without getting like into spoiler territory or anything, obviously it's absolutely a midpoint for a trilogy. It's absolutely a we're getting a two-parter out of this in the sense that there is a cliffhanger ending. I think there is a little bit of struggle with that in the back end on the third act. It's not much of a third act, which is obviously what they're teeing up because there's a whole other movie coming after it. But what makes that different in my mind from like Fast X, where they're both doing the same thing in the sense that they are teeing up future movies. You're making this movie now to do things later. Spider-Verse actually takes care of all the other elements going on, so like it makes sure that you have a reason to be in the moment and has a reason. It's like telling the story completely in this film and setting up what's going to come later, mostly. Where like Fast X is just a fucking Super Bowl commercial with like, cool, look at all these characters that you remember these guys, right? Well, there's 2 more movies. So yeah.
Okay, I have many things to say, but first, this question, here's the answer. No spoilers yet, please. Next week.
Especially because Perri hasn't seen it
Yeah,
yet.
I haven't seen it. Maybe next week we'll circle back and I'll give my thoughts on the movie and we'll include some spoilers as well.
Yeah.
But as you were saying that about the cliffhanger of it all, like I really think that Fast 10 had the most heavy-handed cliffhanger I have ever seen in my life in a movie.
And that's the thing. Like it's not even just the cliffhanger. Like a cliffhanger itself it is not the wrong choice. It is how you lead up to it and what you do with it. And like so with Fast X for me, it's everything about like how it doesn't take care of anything. It's just basically saying over and over again, like, hey, you remember this? Hey, you like this character? Hey, you remember this? Like, yeah, that's pretty cool, right? And there's no story.
Well,
Like there's no fucking story.
you're not wrong about that. The other thing with the cliffhanger is it's not just about, I mean, I guess this is kind of tying into what you were going to say, but the way I was going to phrase it is it's not just about the lead up, it's also about ending it in a way that like yes, could pave the way to another part of this story, but
Yeah.
also make this feel like a singular satisfying story as well. And that's where I think Fast 10 falls short, whereas, I look at something like Avengers Infinity War where obviously that was a huge cliffhanger paving the way to Endgame, but it was very much the first part of that story. It just so happens that our heroes lose.
Yeah. So 100, and like again, like that's why I think like Across the Spider-Verse is a little bit of a miracle in that way, because it does end on a very aggressive cliffhanger. So like it does the same thing. It's doing the same, like, oh wow, like we got to a point that would have kind of teed up like a bigger climax, but it just kind of exits. But again, everything around it is handled with care, and like it's still taking care of all the right messages. It's still taking care of all the right, like, like there's a lot of real meta commentary in there about like Spider-Man himself and like Spider-Man's backstory, and it's playing with a lot of really good things. So it's very smart with how it's telling a story. It's doing those in the right way, and it's giving you something to think about. It's not just, again, blowing through a series of nostalgia highlights and just trying to get to the cliffhanger so more is to come. But yeah, I mean, honestly, this, like, I say this up front every time we talk about comic book movies. Like, I haven't read Spider-Man comics, so this is coming from someone who's seen all of the movies, who is a fan of most of the movies. Honestly, I think like my favorites are still probably in the Raimi-verse. I dig Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I don't care for much of the Andrew Garfield stuff. So for me, I wouldn't say like I'm a super fan, but I would say like I've seen everything that I can, and like the cartoons obviously too. Like I used to watch the cartoons and stuff like that. So yeah, I have plenty of love for the character and the story itself. It's just, again, not comic based.
For what it's worth at this point, I actually love all of the Spider-Man movies, even the ones that, maybe aren't that great. Like, for example, maybe Spider-Man 3. I still very
Yep.
much enjoy watching that movie, and I don't care who knows it. But last I left off with my Spider-Man movie ranked list, my number one was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of the sequel beating the predecessor at this point for
Yeah.
me. And I'll let you know where I land on that matter next week.
Yeah, it's again like some of the stuff in there. Spider-Punk fucking rules.
Yeah,
Like
love the pictures.
just immediately one of my favorite characters of the year. And just because again, like you're just getting the anarchist Spider-Man thrown in with all these other rule abiding Spider-Man and the meeting of the spiders. The spider people. Amazing. Everyone they're throwing in there, like saving surprises for when people go watch it, but the sheer number of spider people in this is fantastic.
I'm very excited. We have a lot of excited folks
Mhm.
in the live chat too. Saw the movie yesterday morning. Very well done, entertaining movie. I enjoyed it very much. Looking forward to seeing the
Mhm.
next one in the Beyond with the old gang back plus a few new members. I like the variation of characters that I see in all the art. That's what I was
Yeah.
busy doing before I signed on. Just rewatching trailers and scrolling through the official artwork that the studio released, and even through promo material alone, you can very clearly get a sense of like the wide variety of style and characters and all of that in it, and that's what makes me most excited of all.
It has so much like just individual style stuffed into a single movie. Like it's insane that they build so many worlds and universe. Like it's a multiversal movie, so like these multiverses all feel so living and breathing. And that just really comes down to the design. Like this, like some feel like watercolors, some feel like pure digital. It's crazy how they do everything so beautifully.
So we got a No Way Home fan here in Mirror Domains,
Mhm.
which I very much respect.
Yep,
Spider-Punk is the
straight
MVP.
up.
You seem to not be the only one saying that. I like that.
And
And
again,
yeah,
voice
you
acting.
brought up
Everyone's crushing voice acting, like across the board. Again, like Oscar Isaac is the perfect casting for that. Like Daniel Kaluuya is like again the perfect Spider Punk. Like they do so well with this.
I'm psyched to
But
see
no, you're
them.
yeah.
We have a little love for Andrew Garfield here too, which like I'll agree. I think part of the reason why I like his Spider-Man movies so much is because of his performance and the fact that his enthusiasm for the role just radiates off the screen, and it does have that kind of quality where it like seeps you in, and it
Mhm.
I'm not saying this in a way where you can't get into the movie, but something about it makes you happy to see him playing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And again, I don't just mean that as like, oh, from an outside perspective without engaging in the I mean like within the story, you get that feeling or his work encourages that feeling.
Yeah, I should reframe and say like, or sorry, reframe and say, I the movies themselves are my least favorite, but yeah, Garfield himself is not the issue.
We have Mike Joyce with a double super chat. I absolutely loved this movie. It'll definitely be in my top 5 movies at the end of the year. I'm hearing a lot of this. It's like right now we're talking about the ranking of all the Spider-Man movies, but I'm
Yeah,
hearing a lot of people right now call this their number 1 of the year and saying things like this, that they'd be shocked if it fell out of their top 5 or top 10s.
yeah. I was surprised because I've just given my take and like that's where I land on it without any more spoilers. But like I did see a lot of immediate tweets about like best animated movie ever, best superhero movie ever, best Spider-Man movie ever, best this movie ever, and like it's a lot of people are saying that. So like God bless if it's really getting that much enjoyment.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Mike also says the worst part about the movie for me was the 5-minute preview for Gran Turismo
Yo,
that played before.
so weird. I
Is
mean,
it I didn't see it. Is it
I
bad?
haven't seen the trailer, no, because I saw it at a press
Okay.
screening, but like I saw the poster for Gran Turismo, like
Yeah.
just on the wall, and I was just like, oh my god, that's right, they made a Gran Turismo movie.
I do not have that on my radar whatsoever.
No, I don't think
Whatsoever.
anyone does.
Yeah, I'm just
Uh,
looking up the
yeah.
poster right now. Yeah, that is not my top priority at the moment, but I am open-minded and I will see it probably when it comes out. Sam is here. Apparently, some theaters, including the one I went to, are having major audio problems. Oh no, which
Yep.
make a lot of the dialogue almost impossible to understand. Loved the movie, but it definitely dampened my experience of it a bit. You seem like you know about this, Matt.
Oh yeah, like everyone is kind of saying the same thing on Twitter. So for me in my theater, it kind of fixed itself after the opening narration. So the opening narration for me, I forget for how long of it, but like for the first like minute or so, I thought it was a stylistic choice that they were like keeping Gwen's narration low because like I don't know, like she's walking around somewhere busy and like she's talking to herself or in the narration. I thought it was stylistic, but then everyone else is kind of saying like I couldn't hear it, and I was like, yeah, I couldn't really either. So I saw it in an AMC. I don't know if it's an AMC problem or not, but yeah, the beginning for it didn't really affect me after that. So I guess whoever was doing my screening or whatever, like if they could fix it or whatnot. But yeah, it definitely was
so
the opening narration.
sad.
Yeah.
That bums me out. Like I know like mistakes happen, but if mistakes
Yeah.
are widespread like that and it's impacting how the filmmaker intended the film to be experienced, that's a bummer. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess I'll report back on that issue too and let you guys know if I run into the same thing.
Yeah, definitely pay attention at the very beginning for that. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it like literally everyone is Twitter, that's all people are talking about too.
Oh my god. That's crazy. That's
Everyone
wild that's able to happen. Interesting. Okay. I shall keep an ear out for that. Okay, so what else are we going to talk about, Matt? So we are going to save Boogeyman spoilers briefly for the end of the episode. So no one has to worry about running off if you haven't seen that movie just yet. That movie also came out this weekend. There's a lot of movies out this week. You know where I'm running off to? So I should also tell people we're going to cut this episode just a little short, a little before 4 because I have to rush into Manhattan to go see Past Lives tonight, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. I haven't seen it yet. I can't wait.
I was very sad to have missed that at Sundance, that was another one where everyone was like, oh, this is going to be one of the best movies of the entire year. And my schedule just didn't align. But tonight I am going to go see it finally. And I'm very excited.
Hooray. Yeah, that is not on the docket tonight.
What's on the docket tonight? Anything fun?
I have a decent, tonight I don't know, but I have a decent amount of writing to do today, working on a pretty big piece. I'm like 1600, what is it, right? Yeah, 1,600 words in. And I was just like, yeah, I'm about halfway done. I'm like, fuck.
All right. That's not something that surprises me one bit, especially considering every minute before we started on Merri Hour, I was working.
Yep. Exactly.
Saturdays is for work. Matt, did you just disappear?
I don't think so. Why?
Oh, it looks like you disappeared to me. I have a big plus on you don't see what I see?
No, now I do. Why is my camo? Hold on.
I don't know. It's probably a camo issue because I've seen that before. There you are.
Yeah, that's my FaceTime. I'm going to try camo again.
Oh, okay. Try opening the app and see
what is happening.
If it disconnected, maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, I'll just come back.
I'll answer this question in the meantime. Mirror Domains wants to know, will Oppenheimer being rated R hurt its box office? That's one where I highly doubt it. Like, for example, I'm very happy that The Boogeyman wound up being a PG-13 movie because I think that is again, nobody take my opinion too seriously on what is okay for your kids to be watching because I do not know your children. I do not know your rules. But just speaking about how I was at that particular age, I would have loved for The Boogeyman to have been one of my very first horror movies. It feels like an ideal gateway movie, but also an ideal movie for hardcore horror fans as well. So in that case, I think it helps that it's PG-13 and not R. Whereas the typical Christopher Nolan viewership is probably 18 and up anyway. So I think the fact that it's R is not going to make any difference in box office whatsoever.
I don't know any nieces and nephews that are scampering out to see Oppenheimer in the theater.
I mean, I don't know. After I'm going with my niece to see Little Mermaid on Sunday. Maybe our next trip to the movie should be July for Oppenheimer. The dice tower has been removed. He's
destroying the dice tower.
He just like leapt off onto the perch now too. I'll see if you could see him. He been
Agile.
a very, very good boy lately. I mean, not
Very
really. He
good.
knocks shit over, but like a good boy in terms of being good background entertainment in all my videos. We just posted the Daniela Melchior Collider Ladies Night round 2, and I'm pretty sure he is sitting in that perch being super cuddly and cute literally the entire time we were talking.
Amazing. That's
Yeah.
what you
It
need.
is, I mean, it is kind of amazing. I love when he does that. It makes me happy. All right. Jumping into the chat here. Do any of these ideas pique your interest, Matt? Oh, we never talked about the Dwayne Johnson stuff.
We
Dwayne
didn't, yeah.
Johnson,
Are you ready
Fast
for the return
and
of CM
Furious.
Punk? No, fuck that.
Why? What did CM Punk do wrong?
He's coming. It's a whole big thing. AEW announced a new show on Saturdays, and CM Punk is now the head of that show. But like, I don't know. It just still feels really weird after he
What do
had the
you
whole
mean by the head of that show?
like they're trying to do a thing where AEW has a lot of wrestlers and a lot of wrestlers that kind of got like, let's say, buried, or like a lot of storylines that didn't get their full due. So they're adding another 2-hour show on Saturday nights, which is a really fucking weird play. But they're hoping with this Saturday night show, they can take all the wrestlers who have been, let's say, buried and haven't had the full run that they should have had, and now they have another 2 hours to work with all these people. So like CM Punk is now the face of their Saturday night program that is kind of going to be like the people who haven't been around for a while. But like CM Punk hasn't been around because he started a fight with the fucking EVPs of the company, and shit is not okay. Like, so I
Okay.
don't know.
Okay.
Who knows? Maybe there was some like you don't know what happens backstage and stuff. Like I don't
Trauma.
know. Maybe they worked it out. Who knows? But
I want
it
to
was
go
very
again.
shocking. It
I
was
want to
very
go
shocking.
see some AEW again.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
just feel like it's time.
we just got back from Vegas, so
Yeah. I mean, you guys did, but I feel like, what are we, like 2 months? I feel like we're only like 2, 3 months removed from the last time we went.
January, because we went in
I,
January.
yeah.
It's more than that. Yeah.
I would like to go again. I
Well,
have the
make it
rock
come back to
stuff,
LA. Go
and
for it.
I will go. I have the rock stuff pulled up. I'm reading from the outlet which claims the exclusive on this. It looks like The Wrap. The headline is New Fast and Furious movie starring Dwayne Johnson in development at Universal. Universal is in active development on an untitled new Fast and Furious film starring Dwayne Johnson as Luke Hobbs. Although plot details are being kept under wraps, according to insiders with knowledge of the project, the film won't be a sequel to Hobbs and Shaw or a spin-off. Instead, it will be a direct continuation of the main Fast saga story, serving as a bridge between Fast X and now I'm saying it, Fast 10 and Fast 10 Part 2.
It's like no. Like what are we? There was already so. Why do we need a bridge? These movies are already now like they're running out of gas. Like let's be honest here. Like for me, like after Fast 10, they are running out of gas and trying to figure out ways to keep this franchise making as many movies as it can. Like the fact that yeah, I mean that is fine.
Accurate.
Exactly, a side story. Like I thought the whole point of this was to wrap up the main story, and now it just seems like Vin Diesel's trying to do everything he can to make the main story like elongate, which is the problem of everything that's happening.
I have not looked up box office information for a little while, but I know that opening weekend domestically was mighty soft.
Yeah,
I mean, interesting stuff. And like especially after, Dwayne Johnson was out of it and now he's back after,
after Black Adam bombed.
like a little bit of a bumpy road there. I will answer Mike's question though, because like I know Dwayne Johnson has had a couple of rough spots in the filmography lately, but
Pain and Gain.
I like Pain and Gain. I love the two Jumanji movies. I think those are excellent examples of bringing back an old property and continuing something in a way that feels fresh, modern, and exciting. We lost your camera again, Matt.
What the fuck is happening? Oh my god.
I don't know, but I could keep blabbing about Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, go ahead. My watch keeps turning my phone camera on.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's fun. I figured it out.
I've never had that happen before, but it's good you're having this problem so I could be aware of it in the future in case I run into it. But I really love those two Jumanji movies, and I think they're high quality studio movies also. And then on top of that, you have to think about something like Moana, which I feel like Dwayne Johnson, like his voice performance in that is spot on. I adore that movie from top to bottom. What else has he had recently or semi recently that's really good? Am I forgetting something?
Well, I mean, like what about The Rundown? What about Walking Tall? Like, I mean, like he's been doing this stuff for a long time. I can't 100% say that has The Rock ever been in a great movie. Like, he's been in a ton of movies I do enjoy. And again, we think about all the newer stuff and we don't think about the older stuff. And I think that's a little bit of an issue because again,
I do think Jumanji and Moana are great.
I absolutely, I think Pain and Gain is great.
I think Pain and Gain is great.
I think Jumanji is great.
Oh,
I don't think Baywatch is great. I can tell you.
No, I do not like Baywatch. I think Red Notice. I actually never wound up seeing that movie, even though I quite like the director. But I don't think that really sparked enough interest. And
which one?
Jungle Cruise.
Oh yeah.
Red Notice. That was the one with Ryan Reynolds, directed by Ross and Marshall Thurber, who did Skyscraper, and I like Skyscraper. I like Skyscraper. I like San Andreas.
But I think that might actually be the thing, though. I think I like a lot of the Rock movies. Maybe that is. I like a lot of the Rock movies. But I don't know how many are. You're right. I don't know how many are great. Let's say.
I think a bunch are great. I do really think a bunch are great.
Doom. Can't forget Doom.
I like Doom, and I know you like Doom.
I like Doom. Yeah, I ain't saying it's a great movie, but I am saying I love watching that dumb fucking movie.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. So we turn this episode into like a Rock ranked episode now.
Amelia says The Rundown is a perfect movie.
Oh God. I actually watched that fairly recently. It is kind of fun.
She's never seen Walking Tall, so I will put Walking Tall on very soon because that is one I remember liking a good deal.
All right. I think in conclusion on this topic, we're both not super hyped about. I don't know, maybe for more Fast and I lie. I think there's better opportunities to do Fast and Furious spin-off movies. Like I agree with was it Sam that had said it about rather seeing a Hobbs and Shaw sequel? Like, I would rather see a Hobbs and Shaw sequel. I would also rather see one of these spin-offs that they keep talking about. Like, I remember there was talk of, like, was there ever talk of spinning off, was it Asa Gonzalez's character in Hobbs and Shaw or something like that? And because I was just talking to Daniela about her new character, Isabel, who of course is Elena's sister, like, there's got to be a significant amount of story regarding that character that we haven't tapped into yet. I would love to know more about her journey. There just feels like there's so many side characters who never have had the opportunity to really get their roles fleshed out that I would like to spend more time with.
I mean, I think that would be a great thing because that's, again, one of the problems with Fast 10 that I have in that they're just taking all the characters and cramming them into one movie and you're not getting any like depth or standout moments because everyone is just like, it feels like they're fighting for their own time on screen where like, you know, they've been teasing doing like all the women of Fast and Furious, like getting them in a spinoff and stuff like that. Like take some of these characters, break them away from the main story and actually let us delve into a whole film about them instead of them showing up for fucking 20 minutes saying a catchphrase, doing a pose and just walking away.
I wish that I'm trying to say this comment without spoilers, but I wish that there was some sort of opportunity for an entire movie just about Charlize Theron and Michelle Rodriguez. Like, I just want them on. I smacked my mic. I'm sorry. Them on their own adventure.
So excited you are.
Really. I'm just screwing up the audio because I'm really excited about that idea. Also, I think their fight scene was the best scene in the entire film.
Yeah, and again, like that's what I want. I agree. That's what I want more of. I don't want more of this just overbloated studio machine kind of like Fast and Furious movie because that was Fast 10, and I don't want more of Fast 10. And it very much feels like that's what Vin Diesel wants. Like his comments about like, you know, Jason Momoa overacting and like, you know, supporting characters ruining the movie is like,
I like him overacting. Like, I understand sometimes when that doesn't work. I thought he was spot on with that performance. I think that character was meant to be over the top. He infused the film with the type of fun in life it really needed. I mean, he was the thing that really held it all together for me.
Yeah, 100%. If those are true. Yeah, the bullshit.
Wait, what? Are we talking about the same thing?
Yeah, like no. If that's what Vin Diesel was complaining about, if that was true, like that's BS. Like I agree.
I think we're talking about two completely different things. Like I just went on a little rant about how good Jason Momoa is in the movie.
I'm agreeing with you in saying that if that's what Vin Diesel was complaining about, that's dumb because it's very good.
Oh, I didn't know that Vin Diesel was complaining about
It
something. I
was a
think
rumor
that's where
thing
the
that was
confusion is.
circulating.
Oh,
Yeah,
I had
it was a
absolutely no
rumor
clue what
thing.
that is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that is an interesting rumor to hear about. I had another story that someone asked to address, which you won't be able to talk about because you are slow as fuck to watching this show. I can't find the live chat comment, but
What is
here's
it?
the headline that I'm very excited about from EW.com. Yellow Jacket's boss confirms that there will be a bonus episode. And the beginning of the article is, after Yellow Jacket's second season only contained 9 episodes compared to the first season's 10, fans started to theorize that the season finale wasn't a season finale at all. Many were convinced that another bonus episode would drop on June 2nd. June 2nd. I didn't see
I
anything
was gonna say
on June 2nd. Dear God, have I missed something?
I don't
This is
think you
not
did
out
'cause
yet, right?
I didn't see anyone
I
talking
would
about this.
cancel all I would sign off this stream, I would cancel all plans, and I would be watching that tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. No.
But apparently when fans started talking about staying up to wait for the episode, co-creator Ashley Lyle jumped in on Twitter telling them to get some rest, go to bed, get some rest. There will be a bonus episode between seasons, but I love you guys and don't want y'all to lose sleep thinking it's tonight. So I guess that's confirmation that
It
there
was
is
not.
going to be a bonus episode, but there doesn't seem to be any information on when we're actually going to get it. I
So,
think my prediction would be it's a bottle episode.
well, I was gonna say, question on that then. Does the finale play like a finale, like, without saying anything
Oh,
like that?
without
Like,
a doubt,
okay,
yes.
yeah, so then,
I
yeah.
think that very much plays as a
Okay.
finale. Like, there was nothing about the content of the finale that made me think, "Oh, there's something like, there's obviously something open-ended that will pave the way to season 3, but
Mhm.
not that there's anything open-ended that, like, I need one more episode to finish it off."
Yeah, it's just an interesting thing of, like, having a bonus after your finale, so, like, yeah.
My 2 predictions would be it is a bottle episode that focuses on none of the main characters, but rather a, a supporting character with minimal screen time who's vital to where things are going from here on out, or, a brand new character, whether it's a surviving Yellow Jacket that we don't know is alive yet, or somebody else who's going to play a big part in season 3. So it's either going to be that where it's a bottle episode, or maybe season 3 is going to include some sort of time jump. I don't think that's possible for the 90s timeline, but maybe for the present day timeline where, like, they fast forward a little bit and
Okay.
they use this as an opportunity to give some context. I don't know.
I can't comment yet.
I mean, I guess the only other thing that I could think of that kind of leans into why fans might have been speculating is perhaps because of the writer's strike and the likelihood of season 3 being delayed more than maybe Showtime would have liked. Maybe I mean, this is again just me speculating. Maybe for all I know, they did, save one episode to bide time between seasons 2 and 3. But I think that would wind up ruining the viewing experience and doesn't really make much sense to me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. We have Mike here with another super chat. Hi, Perri and Matt. Just got home from my second viewing of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. For those who have seen it, would it be fair to say that Lord and Miller have the best approach to the character?
So is this specifically talking about Miles Morales? I would say, like,
I don't know. I think you can take it as you'd like.
yeah, it's just curiosity because I think there were rumblings of, like, a live action version and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and it's like, how cool would it to be to see, like, Lord and Miller do take it live and do something like that. I think that'd be very fun.
I would not mind seeing that. I just like whether it's Spider-Man or anything that they do,
Mhm.
I just really trust the 2 of them as filmmakers, as storytellers, and I think they very much know what they're doing. But, just generally comparing, like their take and also the writers and directors they work with for that matter, comparing
Right.
their take to let's say John Watts, Sam Raimi, Mark Webb. I don't know. I think they're all they're all slightly different and unique, and I can't really
Yeah.
tell you which one I think is better or worse. It like, for me, it winds up being more a matter of, like, what I feel like watching on any given day.
Yeah, that's fair.
Hmm.
I might still lean towards Raimi. I think he nails the, like, comic book aesthetic and tone. But again, that comes down to everyone he's working with too, like, that is me also thinking Tobey Maguire does a great job and stuff like that, so,
I like Tobey
yeah.
Maguire.
But, yeah, I mean, I don't think one is better. I think it's what you said. It's like it's different flavors. It's like, what do I feel like that day?
Yeah. Wait, what is this? I remember when people watched a stream of a candle burning before season 2 of Yellow Jackets came out for hours. Really?
Did they just have a stream of a candle, like, in a
I
campfire or
don't
something?
know. I'm always surprised when I'm unaware of anything that pertains to Yellow Jackets because I did so many interviews. Now, like my entire For You page on TikTok is basically like 95% Yellow Jacket
Of
stuff,
course. Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not mad about it. I like it quite a bit.
No, I mean, it's for you. It should be
I
curated to
mean,
what you
yeah,
wanna see.
doesn't it? Like it kind of makes sense there. Was there any other news story that I missed that someone threw in that you wanted to talk about?
I'm trying to take a look, of
Oh,
what's going
I'll
on.
tell you, I wonder if they're bringing this up because I briefly spoke about this. Or did this news just break that there's a date for this
I'm
movie?
w
While I was doing my Sophie Thatcher, Vivian Lyra Blair interview for Boogeyman, we were on the
Mhm.
topic of horror movies and horror games they like, and apparently Sophie Thatcher is a really big Silent Hill fan and, would
Yeah.
wanna join that franchise and, like, in the heat of the moment with the interview crazed brain, I was like, "They are making a new Silent Hill movie already, right?" And,
Yeah.
of course, it's this, and I believe it's finished filming. And maybe they gave it a date. I don't know.
I
We'll
don't
see.
see any.
You don't see anything?
The last thing I see is a Collider article from April 25th. I do not see anything after that.
Well, then. Yeah, I don't really see anything either.
Yeah, it says it was filming as of February 15th. So yeah, I don't see a date yet, but I just the idea. We're also getting a new
Curious.
game too. One of
Oh,
our
yeah?
friends is working on it. Yeah, so super excited.
Hmm, interesting. I've watched
More
a whole
spooky
lot of
content.
cutscenes from those games because, yeah, spooky content, and I enjoy it. Um, do we wanna get to some spooky content very briefly for those who have seen The Boogeyman?
If you want to.
Let's do it. Before we do that and cut some people off here, do you want to plug anything?
Just the usuals at Donatobomb, Twitter, Letterboxd, Instagram. Go there, follow me. I write a
And
lot of things and I post them there, and you can follow me and read them.
and hopefully people will go and read whatever you're busy working on today. That is very, very long.
Hopefully, that would be very nice. I like
Yeah.
it when when you put a lot of time into something and it actually gets attention.
I'm curious as to what that is. I will promote a brand new episode of Collider Forces, which went live yesterday. It's with Rachel Morrison, one of the directors of The Mandalorian season 3. And of course, she's also the first woman to get nominated for a cinematography Oscar, which is huge. Everything about her makes her the perfect guest for Collider Forces. So check that out. There's a whole bunch of like interesting bits of information too about how like the design elements in Shang-Chi heavily influenced how they made the mythosaur look in Mandalorian, which I found very
Cool.
interesting. So there's a lot of little bits of information like that in that interview. And then literally right before we went live on Merri Hour, the Daniela Melchior Ladies Night Round 2 went live. So after she made Suicide Squad and basically broke out with that, we spoke about what that meant. And now I can't believe Suicide Squad only came out in the summer of 2021, and since she's joined 2 more of the biggest film franchises of all time. So now she's a part of
Crushing.
DC, she's a part of Marvel, and she's a part of the Fast and Furious film franchise, which is nuts. So this is basically a conversation about the next phase of her career.
Hell yeah.
It's
That is
cool. It's
amazing.
cool. All right, with that, we will say goodbye to anyone who has not seen The Boogeyman, and we hope you go see it. We both liked it. I loved it. Matt liked it, which is cool because it's both positive.
Yeah, it's both positive.
Yeah. So I think everyone should run out and see The Boogeyman and then come back to this conversation because I'm excited about this movie and I like talking about the ending of this movie. I'm gonna give everybody a quick second to get on out of here if you have not seen it, because you
Oh,
don't want to spoil
goodbye.
it for yourself.
Bye-bye.
Okay. This is it. I'm gonna
Bye-bye.
go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm talking about the Boogeyman spoilers right
Got it.
now. I was very curious to see, did you say you had read the short story?
I did not know.
I was very, very curious to see how they ended the movie, and because this is something we spoke about in our non-spoiler review, but because I think, I shouldn't say this for both of us,
Yep.
they did such a good job of establishing characters and creating that connection between viewer and character, and I cared so much about them. I was so worried that they were gonna veer into the ending of the short story, which, like, is deeply sinister and concerning. Do you know what the ending of the short story is?
So I read the entire wiki. So,
Yeah,
like, in writing my review, so I had an idea at least. I read the
yeah,
entirety of the Wikipedia, like, summary of the short
okay.
story. So I do know the ending. I know everything. All that stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to spoil the short story for anybody who has not seen it. So what happens is, during, like, obviously the short story is only about Lester Billing.
Mhm.
So Lester's in there and he's talking to the therapist, and what happens at the end is it's revealed that the therapist is really the boogeyman, and he, like, takes off the therapist's face like a mask. Because Sophie Thatcher goes back in and the door is cracked open,
Yeah.
I assumed that is exactly where they were going, and, like, I'm so happy they didn't. It kind of reminds me of my reaction to The Black Phone overall, where a movies
Okay.
can be so, like, dark and deeply sinister and scary, but still have a hopeful quality. So, it also kind of leans into the Babadook territory quite a bit too, where, because they don't end with, like, the evil so overtly, clearly haunting her for the rest of her life like that, or even for all we know, killing her right on the spot there. It creates this idea that, like, yes, we know this darkness will always follow you, but, if you talk with your family, if you give each other your enough support, it's something that you can manage and you can keep each other safe from. So I love that such a scary movie can have, a little bit of an inspiring ending to it. And I think that wouldn't have been the case had they ended it the same way as the short story.
Yeah. I'm happy they didn't. I also wouldn't have been mad if they did. I don't know. Because,
Mm.
like, the ending itself still leaves you open with the sense of, like, is it still out there? Is it still blah blah blah? Like, you can do whatever you want with that. I don't know. I like a dark ending. I like the fact that, like, you think you're out of the woods. Guess what? You're
Yeah.
not. Like one of those. But in reading how
Well, that
specifically,
that
like,
is still what it is. It's not like it's,
right,
like,
that's true.
clean, like, they are not
That's
out of
true.
the woods. But
Yeah.
now they have more tools to deal with challenging things like grief, loss, and all that.
But I do like how they expanded from, like you just said, like Lester being the main character of the short story, and how they expand into a entire feature film that isn't just about Lester. Because, like, I don't think that works as well. I don't think that's the concept I wanted to see. Like, I think they find a way, the writers of the film, they find a way to really expand the short story and do so with originality instead of just trying to, like, stretch it out. Like,
Mhm.
you can always tell, like, when a movie is a stretched out short
Yes.
story, and, like,
And
even if you know going in or not. Like, there are so many times I'll be watching an indie movie or something, and I'm like, God, this feels like they took a short story or a short film and just, like, tried to elongate it. And, like, 90% of the time, I'm, like, dead on. I'm like, oh, it was a short film, or
yeah,
it was a short story. So the Boogeyman never feels like that, and I think that's a good thing about it.
I think that's one of the best things about it. I love it. Just to
Yep.
answer this question here, MK Songbird wants to know, am I crazy, or was the medium in the
Oh, you're
YouTube
not
video
crazy.
in The Boogeyman the same actress from Host? It's Salem.
Yep.
I love that. To me is a great, because, like, we know that a lot of filmmakers out there like to, hide little things from previous movies, flat out
Yeah.
reference them. Sometimes there's like in-world crossover happening. This is probably one of the best references I've ever seen to a filmmaker's previous movie, because, like, not only did it feel so natural and in world for Sadie's experience, but I love the callback at the end. Like, it's not just something that happens for the sake of giving a nod to Host. It's something that she actually uses and winds
Yeah.
up being a major factor in the third act set piece.
Yeah. So, correct. Your eyes did not deceive you.
I love that. Love, love, love that. Oh yeah, we talked about this last
Yeah.
time.
Didn't like that part. Agree.
I think That's the only, like, shared criticism that
Yeah.
we have. I feel like if she's not that mean, the satisfaction of her getting slapped isn't as high, but
Agree, but
it
if
was
like, it
still
doesn't feel genuine, though. Like, that's the
yeah,
thing. Like, the satisfaction might be there, but it's not a genuine interaction. It is a manufactured interaction meant to make you feel that way, and, like, that's when the organicness is gone, that's when it's a
yeah,
rougher go.
yeah, I mean, I feel like with many of the Yellow Jackets actors, because
They're just
they're so perfectly cast that I'll always like, they'll always be, like, a slight echo of that to me.
yeah, it's just in your head. You're always gonna hear that stuff.
The 2 of them
But
are it's, like, such an insanely good pairing. I
and
can't
and I
believe
think that's what sold it for me really in the end. Just that ending between, 2 sisters and the Christmas lights and, like, fighting against the demon is it's a pretty good final act. Like, it's a pretty good fight, especially when Christmasina's character goes down and, like,
yeah,
dad's out of the picture. Now you have 2 kids fighting for their life against this boogeyman that is quite fierce, and I like how
yeah,
they don't really, like, dumb that down either. Like, the boogeyman is he's a vicious creature, so,
uh-huh,
they do well with that.
and that ankle break
Right, the ankle break.
was
Yep, that
good.
is
That's a good PG-13 break right there. I thought
Mhm.
that was great. I also just loved in general how, like, 3 different approaches to believing in slash fighting the boogeyman existed where, like,
Okay.
Sawyer saw it first, was like the quickest to be like, it is there and I'm scared. And then Sadie slowly catches on, but
Yeah.
then, Will is the one where until he sees it face to face, he's not going to give his kids the support that they need. But now that they are all in the basement together, it's like together they could fight it. Also, if you want to believe the flame represented their mother, which I
Mhm.
do, with her help as well. But that was a great set piece. I also love the way that they photograph that basement. Like, I feel like a
Yeah.
dark basement like that could so quickly become, like, either boring and dull with repetitive visuals, or you could get lost in it too because it's dark. But between, just like the general, like, framing of every single shot and also the use of the lights, I was very
Yeah.
impressed by
Uh-huh.
how quickly I understood the geography of that whole space.
Yeah,
And
the way they, like,
like,
trail.
yeah, and, like, felt scared by the presence of and the threat of the boogeyman, but also was very much with Sadie, where I knew the lay of the land and kind of what her chances were because of it.
I think it's very akin to, like, whatever your thoughts on, like, Don't Breathe are. I think that basement scene is very good in the same way that it is by filming it the
Good
way they film
reference.
it, the navigation of the basement is like a maze, and, like, it
Yeah,
doesn't feel just like I mean, living in suburban Jersey, I go downstairs in my parents' basement, and, like, I think about if, like, there was a horror movie down there, like, yeah, like, how do you turn that basement into something appealing, on screen, and, like, the
yeah.
ways of doing that, I think very much, like, are accomplished here in The Boogeyman.
It looks really good, and I think I should pro we should do a video ranking the boogeyman lights because the Christmas lights would be close to the top of my list.
Yeah, but then
The
there's the red,
Okay,
flashing light for the
okay.
psychiatrist.
I'm gonna go we're gonna do this right now.
The
I'm gonna
moon.
go Moonball is number 1. Moonball is fucking genius, Matt. Moonball,
Sounds good.
red light, Christmas light. But now I kinda wanna find a spot for, like, I think that the lighter and hairspray combo gives us, like, such an epic, badass, like, exhilarating shot of Sophie Thatcher just, like, burning the shit out of this thing.
Yeah.
Like, it was one of those moments where I wanted to, stand up in the theater and be like, "Fuck yeah," but I didn't.
Yeah, I like, again, they're all good. I have to get I'm a sucker for the red light of the
Of
psychiatrist and the
course
way
you
that it
are.
it reveals well, not even just the red, I love the, like, light off, light on, demon, different places kinda thing, like, that always gets me. That's one of my sucker punches in a horror movie.
Yeah.
The moonball, again, though, dope, like, rolling it around and having it reveal things and, it's gonna get broken at some point.
Yeah.
You know the boogeyman is just gonna be like, smash or whatever. But,
I
like
wonder I wonder if
yeah,
Sawyer's gonna
they're all good. The
continue
Christmas
needing
lights are
light.
good too because it trails, like you just said, like it leaves a little path for like how that goes, and it's also Christmas theme, so I have to.
I figured you would like all that. Any final thoughts on the Boogeyman before we wind this down?
It's good. Spooky time at the movies.
Yeah, it's a good year for horror in the theaters. I will
Hell yeah.
say that. We have Scream 6, Evil Dead Rise, The Boogeyman, and Talk to Me right around the corner.
Yeah.
Yay.
Also, a lot of stuff coming up. Last
Yep.
Voyage. Got some.
I
Is Nosferatu this year? I'm
have they
forgetting.
dated that?
Yeah, I don't know if they've dated it
I don't
yet,
know if they
but
dated that, but I'm really
done though.
eager to see that as well.
You're very Egger.
I'm always down for anything he makes. I might not like them all the same as I like The Witch, but
Yeah.
I'll always marvel at them, be impressed by how incredibly ambitious and creative he is, and I'll always wanna see everything
Not
he
a lot
does.
of chatter
This one in
about
particular.
yeah, not a lot of chatter about Insidious. I
Oh,
feel
I'm
like
excited for it, though.
yeah, I know, but, like, on the
I love
whole
that franchise.
on the whole, though, there's an odd silence around it.
I'm excited for The Nun also. Well, we'll see. We haven't really seen that much from it yet. Just it was one teaser, right?
Yeah, but, like, it's not that far away anymore.
Alright, well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
no, I'm just hoping it doesn't get buried is all. I'm not saying it's
Yeah,
gonna be bad, I'm just saying, like, it for an Insidious movie, it feels like,
yeah.
not that
There should
much
be a little more, not fanfare,
more,
that's not the right word, but, like, a little boost in the promotional campaign
yeah,
at this point.
just a tad bit more.
Alright, well, one can hope that's gonna happen because 'cause I'd like to see more from it. Alright, I gotta hit the road. Thank you
Goodbye.
all for joining us for this edition of the Merry Hour and staying with us for the Boogeyman spoilers because you were ready for it.
Oogie boogie.
Alright, we are outta here, and next week, I believe, we will be back in person.
Mhm.
I have an idea for that. I will tell you after we end.
Okay.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I am now waiting.